Hi, welcome to my live. And my name is Lucy Njero, and today I'll be teaching you about how to how to build and run a successful digital business. Digital business. So a digital business, unlike unlike an ordinary business where we have a shop, a digital business does not have a physical presence, but rather an online presence. So I'm going to bring about some differences between a physical and an online business. Physical business and a digital business. A digital business. So normally, a physical business will have a physical product. A physical product or service. A physical product or a service, but in many cases, a digital business has a digital product, either a digital product or a digital service. And then a physical business will have a physical presence, a physical presence. So you'll hear people advertising their business location. Maybe they'll tell you our business is located in Nairobi, a certain street, and maybe a building. But a digital business does not have a physical presence. It has an online presence. A digital business has an online presence. So what does it mean by a physical presence? Maybe for many businesses, they have a shop. They'll have a shop, but a digital business will have a website. So for digital business, we have websites. So when you want to give someone the address to your online business, you usually give them the web address. You give them the web address. So in a digital business, the products you're selling or the services that you're selling, they are found in your website. Unlike in a physical business, where you have your goods in a physical shop or in a physical location, in an online business, you will have a website, and that is where you will enlist the goods or the services that you're selling online. So get that difference. So those are two major differences between a physical business or a digital business. Though you can also have a digital business selling physical products. So let's be clear about that. For example, when it comes to affiliate marketing, you can be marketing physical products, in which case you will be referring people or customers to a website to go to the website and order a physical product. So you can have a digital business selling physical products, and I've given an example of affiliate marketing. Now let's see what the owner of a business does on a daily basis. So when it comes to a physical business and a digital business, So when you have a physical shop, you wake up every day, maybe you go, you open your shop every day, open the shop. That is a daily activity, but in digital business, one of the major things that you have to do is marketing. Marketing. Now that you don't have a physical presence, you just go online and tell people about your product. So you can do it at the comfort of your home if you so wish. It is not a must you wake up and go to a certain place. So in a physical business, you will need, rather in a digital business, you need internet. You will need internet because that is how you're going to access your target audience. Then in digital business, of course, you will need a device like a phone. You will need a phone or a laptop. You will need a phone or a laptop. That's where you're going to. That is what you're going to use to communicate with your customers. And of course, how do you communicate with your customers? You create content creation. You create content about the goods or the services you're selling, the physical goods or services, because every business needs customers, and the only way to interact with your customers is by telling them where you're located, what you sell, and of course they will communicate back to you, and you respond to their inquiries. So I want to talk about digital marketing because this is one of the major activities that the owner of a digital business does every day. Of course, even for a physical business, you have to do some marketing. Marketing is also necessary, but if the business is purely physical, the kind of marketing that the owner of a physical business does is very different from what the owner of the digital business does. So I will be majoring on digital marketing. Digital marketing. Digital marketing. So let me know, for those who are joining, let me know where you're joining the live from. Tap and tap the screen, share the live, and also like. So what is digital marketing? Digital marketing is the promotion of physical or digital. It is the promotion of physical or digital products services, promotion of physical or digital product services, or brands. So digital marketing is promotion. So get that right. Promotion of physical or digital product services or brands using digital channels. Promotion of physical or digital product services or brands using digital channels. So this is a definition of digital marketing. Of course, I know there are many other definitions of digital marketing, but this is what I find uh, to be the simplest definition. The promotion of physical, digital product services or brands using digital channels. So this is also very important in digital marketing, the use of digital channels. Mercy, you're welcome. Mercy Joy, Mary Chepkogei, you're welcome. Please let me know where you're joining the live from. I'm talking about digital marketing today. The promotion of physical, digital product or services using digital channels. Now this is very, very key. This is very, very key as far as a digital business is concerned, because every business needs customers, and people will not know. They will not know you. They will not know what you're selling unless if you put yourself out there. And nowadays, everyone, or rather almost everyone, is in the digital space. And so we have billions of people on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, and many other digital channels. So use of social media is one of the major ways that businesses market themselves. And with that, I would suggest that every business, even the physical businesses, they need to have an online presence. They need to have an online presence. So I'm now going to talk about the advantages of having a digital business. Advantages of a digital business. Digital business. One of the major advantages is a global audience. Having a global audience. Imagine being in your country and you're able to sell to somebody in the US, in the UK, in South Africa, okay, wherever you're from, you can sell to anyone all over the world. That is one of the advantages of having a digital business. Then, the second advantage is that it is cost effective. it is cost effective. So why do I say that having a digital business is cost effective? To begin with, there are no costs like rent. There's no rent because you can work from the comfort of your home. There's no rent. Then you don't have to incur transport, rather fare to and from the workplace. You don't need to incur fare to go to work because you're just working from the comfort of your home. Then now the digital products you make once and you sell many times. So the cost of production is minimum. The cost of production is minimum. Remember, if you're selling a book, let's say you've written a book. The book is in form of a PDF, for example. And that one PDF, you can sell millions and millions of copies of it. That's just one PDF. So the cost you incur is just the cost of making one, just one unit. Then you can sell as many times as you possibly can. Remember, you can also sell somebody else's product. You don't have to make your own. You can buy a product, maybe a book, which is in PDF, and then you resell it to people, depending on the kind of agreement you have with the owner of that product. So you buy it once and then you sell it many times. Those are some of the advantages of having a digital business. So I said that one of the major daily activities the owner of a digital business needs to do is to market, or that rather to do marketing. How do you do marketing? How do you market your business in the online space? You create content. So let me call it daily activities. You create content, about your product or the services that you offer. So every day, to put him or herself out there to the customer, a digital business owner creates content telling the target audience about their product or their service. Now, content can be in form of videos. It can be in form of videos. It can be a text. It can be audio. So you create videos every day about your product. You can create a text about the same product, or you can even create an audio. So other than creating content, you also have to, maybe you go live. You need to meet your customers live. So creating videos and text content and audio is not enough. You have to go live so that you can communicate with your customers on a live basis. You go live every day. Then something else that you need to do is to respond. Respond to comments. You respond to the comments that your viewers make. So at times they will make enquiries. They develop interests in your product. They will make some inquiries. Maybe they'll ask some questions. How do I access the product? What is the price? So every day you have to make sure you respond to their inquiries, you respond to their comments. And responding to their comments is not just about answering their questions. Another advantage that I didn't highlight about having a digital product is that when you're communicating with the audience online, they give you some insights. Maybe they would want you to make some changes to your product. Maybe the pricing may be a bit off. From their comments or from their inquiries, you will get a lot of insights. Or they will, from the comments, you will actually be able to know what your customers want. Because it is not just about telling them what you have. They can tell you also what they would want from you. And that way you use those insights even to improve your product. Or maybe the kind of content that you're putting out, they can help you improve the content. Now, still on digital marketing, I want to touch on attraction marketing. Attraction marketing. I can see Rue. I don't know whether I pronounced the name correctly. Yes, Rue. I'd like to know where you're joining from. Like the live, share, and comment. So, what is attraction marketing? Now, in attraction marketing, you don't push. You don't push sales. You don't push sales. But rather, you create content that attracts the target the target audience. So in attraction marketing, you don't tell people buy. No. You don't tell people buy this product. No. But there's a way that you create content that attracts them to you and to your product. Important to note is that people will always have a need. People will always have a pain point. But despite having the awareness that they have a need, they are not always looking for a solution, maybe due to some limitation. They may be aware that they have an issue that needs to be solved, but at the moment, they are not looking for a solution. So it is you to make them eager enough to want to find a solution for the problem that they have. So for example, someone is in need of a phone, a new phone. Maybe the phone that they have has an issue. They may not be looking for another one at that moment, not because they don't have the money, probably they have the money. But then you have to make them want to buy that new phone. How do you do that? You have to convince them that they need another phone. Maybe by the phone they have, they are going through some challenges. Of course, so many inconveniences with the old phone. Maybe there are some features they are missing out on. So you have to make them eager enough to want to buy a new phone. Of course, you're not lying to them. No, they also know that they need something new. They need a new phone, but then you have to make them want to buy that new phone at that point. And more so from you because you're not convincing them to go and buy from somebody else. That is attraction marketing. So what you need to do is one, you have to make them to know you, to like you, and to trust you. We have online businesses and we have physical businesses. Someone may be aware where they can go and buy that new phone, maybe from a shop in a town near them, or maybe they're even in that town. They know where they can buy. But why would they want to buy? Maybe from you, who is selling the phone online. It is by attraction marketing. You make them know you, like you, and trust you. Because you have to convince them that whatever you're offering will solve their problem, will solve their need. Otherwise, they either stay with their problem or they buy from somebody else. And that's why we have businesses which have an online presence. They put out content every day, probably even several videos in a day or several posts in a day. Because someone discovering you is not enough in the online space. They have to be confident that when they buy from you, they'll get something quality. And of course, if they're ordering online, they have to be sure that they will get whatever they ordered. Because there's a lot of conmanship online. So people need to know you, they need They need to like you, they need to trust you before they can buy. So in attraction marketing, one of the things you will have to address is the transformation that the customer will get after they buy that product. But remember, I said in attraction marketing, you don't push sales. No, you do not push sales. You make the the potential customer want to buy something. You make them want to buy, not by telling them to buy. No. You talk to them about the transformation that the new product will give them. That is one of the major focus, or one of the major objectives of attraction marketing. You want people to realize some kind of transformation. You want to get them from one point to the other through your product. So how will their lives change by buying your product? What is the transformation that they will realize after they buy your product? So that is one of the major objectives of digital marketing. So if you can convince someone that their lives will move from A to B with the solution you're offering, then they'll have a reason to buy from you. I will be covering uh, attraction marketing at length. So for me, I'm not just teaching about digital business. No, I have a digital business. And before I came into digital marketing, before joining digital marketing, I was in corporate for many years. Actually, for 11 years, I was in the banking sector. And I worked in the banking sector for 11 good years, actually more than 11 years. 11 years and some 7 months. So I know the good and the bad of being in the corporate world, but when I left, I chose being in the digital space because since I joined the banking sector, I was posted very far, hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, and I had to endure. I didn't have a choice. I had to endure, and for many years I tried pursuing transfer. I tried all I could. It was not possible for whatever reason. And contrary to what people believe, that When you're working in a bank, maybe you earn good money. That is just that's just a perception. In many cases, it is not true. Working in a bank is working in it's like just working in anywhere because and when you compare maybe the salaries, they are actually very low. And with the kind of working hours people work, because in most of the banks, and even for me, we were reporting at 7 in the morning, and in most cases leaving at 6, or even at times past 6. And the pay was very low. And then those who've been in the banking sector, they know the kind of pressure that is uh, that people experience, and especially those days in the sales department. Mm. The targets can be something else. So luckily enough for me, I was in operation, but even then, there's a lot of pressure. There's there's a lot to be done. There's so many to be policies. So you're always under pressure actually. Let me not lie. In the banking sector, you're always under pressure. Always under pressure. Pressure to perform. So when you see banks flaunt supernormal profits, some people have worked for it. eh? That is one part that people don't know. I know, like in Kenya, this month I've seen banks reporting their first half profits. And many of them have had an increase in their in their profits for the first half of year 2026. But it is not easy. It's not easy. Some people have really suffered. Let me, for lack of a better word, some people have really suffered. huh? And in most cases, the staff cannot even feel the profit. So after a long time of the pressure of working very far, no time to rest, with a very low pay, I just gave up. I just gave up hope. And I'm really enjoying being in the digital space. So this is where I was before. Before I joined the digital space, I was really stressed. I was seriously stressed because actually I remember in 2022, We had a special group of clients. We had onboarded the elderly. In the last quarter of 2021, we onboarded the elderly. So the bank had contracted to pay the stipend for the elderly. And we started paying them in the beginning of 2022. Now, I believe you know how stressful it is, or rather, it's very challenging to serve people in that category. Serving the elderly, it's it's not a walk in the park. It is seriously taxing. It is taxing. Then it so happens that when the stipend is paid, they all come one day. And they all come, or rather a good number. They just flock in the bank one day. And guess what? There is no additional staffing. There is no additional staffing. So if it is the three or the four of you who are handling them, you deal with them the way they are. So the banking hall is full, the the outside is full, the space around the bank is full. So you can imagine dealing with the elderly. Those who have had dealt with just one person, one elderly person, they know. Mhm. And of course, with the requirements like the KYC, you have to comply with so many policies even before you pay them. For instance, you have to capture their you have to capture their fingerprints and everything that should be done for an account. There has to be an image, there has to be fingerprints. Mm. And you know the process was the process of onboarding them, it was not very smooth. Many things were left out. So now they are here, they want to collect the money. What do you do? Before you pay them, you have to make sure that those accounts are compliant. They have to have images, they have to have signatures, they have to have fingerprints. You have to issue them with ATMs. Now the challenge was compliance was left for one office out of there were 12 offices. So the accounts were opened in 12 offices, but it is one office to make sure that those accounts were compliant. Now that's one office is where I was. My friend, it was fire. I remember I even got sick. I was sick. I was so sick. Just by God's grace that I got out of that situation because it was very stressful. From morning to late evening, you've not taken anything, you've not rested. And of course, at the end of the month, oh my goodness. And I'm just trying to highlight some of the challenges that people don't see. People just see people working in a bank, maybe dressed well. Every day you see somebody walking either in the morning, coming to the office in a suit. in heels or whatever. But you don't know what those people go through. Personally, I know what happens. So when I quit that life, I just chose digital marketing and I'm really enjoying. Financially, it has lifted me. It is not like like what I was earning because remember I said uh, when I was highlighting the advantages of digital marketing is that you have a global audience. You have a global audience. So you have customers from all over the world. And that is one thing that makes digital businesses very, very, very successful. Having a customer base from all over the world. And people from elsewhere, maybe from other continents, of course they have a higher purchasing power. So I was saying before I joined the digital space, I was so stressed, and I have explained what usually happens behind those closed doors, behind those closed glass doors. Stress, pressure. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of pressure. Mm. And financially, was financially drained. Remember, I said that the pay is not as good as people think out here. You think that if someone is working in a bank, they are earning good money. What? That is just an assumption. Mm. And at least for now, I'm free of all that. Just because I joined the legacy. I joined the Legacy Builders program. This is what gave me the break from financial stress, from having to go look for another job, which possibly will have stressed me just like the other one. So, in the Legacy Builders program, we have several packages. You have what we call the Launchpad package. So, you can start your business with the Launchpad package. The package gives you a digital product. So you purchase a digital product which you will now resell $100. Then a website. Remember I said that a digital business does not have a physical presence, and therefore you need a website to put out your products, where you refer to your customers to, and then they make a purchase. So you need a website which costs you $39. That is the launchpad package of the Legacy Builders program. So you buy the product, you set up your website, and then you're shown how to do digital marketing, how to look for customers. Simple. So you are shown how to do attraction marketing, how to create content to attract customers. Then the website. To get the website, you need a domain. You need a domain, and you need a professional email address. A professional email address. Now these ones you can buy from GoDaddy, from Namecheap, System.io, from Nestuge, so you need a domain name and you need a professional email address. Because to have a website, it must have a website, a web address. So you get the web address from any of these: GoDaddy, Namecheap, System.io, Nestuge. Then there is setup. Once you have the web address and the professional email, you need to set up. You need to set up the website. Now the setup, you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. Let me call it DIY. There are two options to set up your website. You can do it yourself, or it can be done for you. We call it done for you. It can be done for you. And the done for you will cost you about $100. The Legacy Builders program. The first package is called the Launchpad package, where you buy a digital product. Remember, in business, you have to have a product or a solution for people's needs, or for your audience's pain points. So you need a product. So the Legacy Builders program gives you a product for 100 in the Launchpad package. They give you a website this is a pre-designed website at $39. But then you need a domain name, you need a professional email, and setup, website setup. website setup, which you can do yourself, or you can pay for it to be done for you by someone. So with that, we come to the end of our live. And in the next live session, I'll teach you about other packages under the Legacy Builders program, because this is one of the packages under the Legacy Builders program. For those who want to start a digital business,